Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Welcome to Essentials of Executive Leadership Program. My name is Fariha Saidi. I'll be the host of today program for today's program. This is the series that we had, the Executive Leadership series that being me had, and today is the last session for the series. If you've been following us for the past 3 series, you know that you'll receive a certificate for this program, a certificate of completion. In this program, inshallah, we'll learn how to explore social psychology as the foundation for how far we choose to lead, manage, influence, and understand the people, process, and positions that demand our attention. And I want to remind our audience to please leave any questions and comments that you have under the comment section on Facebook, and we will take these questions at the end of the session. We'll start today's program with a Quran recitation. Will be by Ustada Tasneen Shahid. She graduated with a double major in chemistry and biochemistry from the University of Toronto. She worked as an analytical chemist for 7 years in the biotech industry for the Bay Area. She has a diploma in Talim al-Quran from Al-Huda Institute. She also has a diploma in Islamic teacher education. She currently teaches Tajweed and Hifz at Al-Huda Outreach Scarborough and Hijaz recitation for Hafiz and Ashura Sughar for students online or over the phone for critical loyalty. We're very happy to have her here. Assalamu alaikum and welcome.
Wa alaikum assalam. Jazakallah khair. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ألف لام ميم. تنزيل الكتاب لا ريب فيه من رب العالمين. أم يقولون افتراه بل هو الحق من ربك لتنذر قوما ما أتاهم من نذير من قبلك لعلهم يهتدون. الله الذي خلق السماوات والأرض وما بينهما في 6 أيام ثم استوى على العرش. ما لكم من دونه من ولي ولا شفيع أفلا تتذكرون. يدبر الأمر من السماء إلى الأرض ثم يعرج إليه في يوم كان مقداره 1000 سنة مما تعدون. ذلك عالم الغيب والشهادة العزيز الرحيم الذي أحسن كل شيء خلقه وبدأ خلق الإنسان من طين ثم جعل نسله من سلالة من ماء مهين ثم سواه ونفخ فيه من روحه وجعل لكم السمع والأبصار والأفئدة قليلا ما تشكرون. وقالوا أإذا ضللنا في الأرض أإنا لفي خلق جديد بل هم بلقاء ربهم كافرون. قل يتوفاكم ملك الموت الذي وكل بكم ثم إلى ربكم ترجعون. ولو ترى إذ المجرمون ناكسوا رؤوسهم عند ربهم ربنا أبصرنا وسمعنا فارجعنا نعمل صالحا إنا موقنون ولو شئنا لآتينا كل نفس هداها ولكن حق القول مني لأملأن جهنم من الجنة والناس أجمعين فذوقوا بما نسيتم لقاء يومكم هذا إنا نسيناكم وذوقوا عذاب الخلد بما كنتم تعملون إنما يؤمن بآياتنا الذين إذا ذكروا بها خروا سجدا وسبحوا بحمد ربهم وهم لا يستكبرون تتجافى جنوبهم عن المضاجع يدعون ربهم خوفا وطمعا ومما رزقناهم ينفقون فلا تعلم نفس ما أخفي لهم من قرة أعين جزاء بما كانوا يعملون أفمن كان مؤمنا كمن كان فاسقا لا يستوون. جزاك الله خير. السلام عليكم.
Thank you very much, Sister Tazeen, for the beautiful recitation. Thank you to our audience for tuning in today's program, Essentials of Executive Leadership. In this session, we have an amazing speaker with us, Shaheen Auckbaraullee, a professional, passionate, and driven, and helping others achieve their success story. She's been in HR corporate work for over 15 years. She focused her studies in HR management and business. She's taught numerous motivational and personal development workshops. She is a philanthropist at heart. Recently started her own coaching company, working with individuals and organizations at large to help them keep motivated and accountable. Her company is called Lift Me Up Coaching Collective. She manages a community via Facebook, a group called Together We Support and Uplift. She currently sits on the board of NISA Helpline as the co-chair and senior advisor for Being Me. Her motto is, let's make your struggles a source of strength as you step into your best self and evaluate your passion into success. And we are very, very happy to have Shaheen here with us today. Assalamu alaikum and welcome, Shaheen. How are you?
Walaikum salam, alhamdulillah. I'm happy to be here for another time.
Great. Thank you.
Just if someone can enable the screen sharing for me, that would be great.
Sure. You will be able to share your screen now.
Okay, let's give it a try. There we go. Okay, just let me know if you could see my screen, Fariha.
Yes, it's perfect.
All right, I'm just gonna see if I could start. There we go. All right, alhamdulillah. So thank you again for being me for hosting me again. Today we're going to be focusing on expanding your professional network. It's going to take you guys through a little bit of an introduction. So, I mean, actually, for you, I already gave my introduction, so I'll leave that aside. But we'll focus more on networking, what it is, what it isn't. We'll go into how to expand your network. And then we're going to talk a little bit about networking, what I like to call value adds. All right. So, Bismillah, let's get started. Are you ready, Fariha?
Yes, excited.
Okay. Sorry, let me just move this to the side. All right. So before we get started, actually, I'm going to go back to this. When you guys think of networking, what does this mean to you? Like, I feel like everybody's always kind of like scared when they hear the word network, or I have to go to a networking event, or I have to participate in something that has to do with networking. So what does that mean to you guys?
Well, we can have them to write their answers in the comment section.
Sure.
If they want to have.
Okay. And feel free to share with me as well, Fariha, if you have anything that you think, like, what do you think networking is?
I think networking, to me personally, when I go to a networking event, it is more like making connections. That's how I see networking as. Making connections to professionals and social connections with people in social groups. That's what I see it as.
Great. And you know, it's interesting because I feel like whenever anyone here's the word networking, it's almost like a taboo topic because they're like, oh, I don't know if I could do this. I don't want to do this. And, you know, I even just to share a personal experience as in case any comments come in while we're waiting. I know one of the first times I had, because networking to me is in all facets of what you do, whether it's something that you're wanting to promote through your business, through your offer, through your product, your service, through your dawah work, through your schooling. There's a facet of networking in all of those phases, right? So I remember one time I was promoting something for an event, and I was with a friend who, mashallah, was much more vocal and like, you know, had the confidence to just kind of put it out there and be like, yes, this event's coming up. It's on this date. You guys, you can't miss it, right? And it was one of my first exposures alongside my friend to kind of join her in promoting this event. And basically the networking for that was I needed to connect with other people to have them understand that this event's amazing. This is what you can gain from the event. You need to come in. And I remember I was like all thumbs. And I just felt like, okay, what am I going to do and how am I going to do this? And that at that moment, I kind of seized for a few seconds. But alhamdulillah, through the mentorship and coaching of other, like being in good company who kind of give you these reminders, and then through renewing your intention, kind of mustered the confidence that I needed and just started. And then I was just on like, you know, a smooth sail from there. Right? So just goes to show you that sometimes we feel like this, when you hear this taboo word of networking and you need to just put it all out there, it kind of comes across as making yourself feel a little bit vulnerable until you actually understand what your comfort level is, right? So I'm just going to take a pause there. Any comments, any questions from there?
We're good for now.
Okay, awesome. So just to kind of start off with the whole concept of networking, you know, we all know that this is more geared towards like this action or process of really interacting with other people. And this is all for the sake of exchanging information and developing that either that professional or social connection, right? But then what happens after that? You know, we all know that networking is valuable. It's key to a successful career or next step or next chapter. But how does one actually put that into play, right? It's not the easiest task to just flip on, switch on, and be active. Start talking, start dialoguing, start exchanging information, making small talk. It's not everyone's cup of tea. Whether you are an introvert or an extrovert, it doesn't really matter. Bringing up a conversation, starting a conversation or a dialogue is not something that is the most easiest task to do. And at times, really, it's like pulling teeth. Even for those who are so comfortable in the element that they're hosting TED Talks. You think those that are hosting TED Talks are just always on and they could just come on and start talking? No. They have a process that they go through. They understand their zone, their comfort level, and then they're able to execute their expertise and impart their knowledge with others, right? So that's where it comes from when I think about networking, you know, what it means, what it isn't, and also understanding and recognizing people's comforts, right? You know, we all know that it's not easy to promote what you have to offer, whether it's a product or a service or your abilities or your strengths or your opportunities. It's not. Networking is not all about that, right? And if we make it about that, then I feel like you're constantly setting yourself up to fail. What we do need to focus on is that networking is part of fostering and building and nurturing relationships. Once you're genuine in yourself and in the expertise that you're able to offer to others, then the real conversations start to naturally unfold. You're able to talk fluidly, you're able to exchange in dialogue, you're able to share, and that's where it kind of clicks. And that mojo that you have, that passion that you have about what you do really just comes right out, right? So if you kind of switch that frame of mind, focusing on relationship building is key. And ultimately, when you start it off that way, then you're going to be able to set yourself up for a longer term success. And that leads up to whatever you have to offer will eventually come into that networking part of it as well. Any questions or comments so far?
We do have a comment in regarding networking, and when networking started, we have one of our attendees. Networking to me started when I was in my mom's womb. She started communicating with me and listening to what I needed.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Take it as far back as you can. I love that. And it's so true because, like, you know, when you look at it from that way, see, like when we think of networking, we're looking at it through tunnel vision. It's like one perspective. But when you kind of unfold it and unpeel the layers so that you yourself can connect and find your comfort level, then there's all sorts of networking awesomeness that you could put out there, right? And I love that. It's true. Who spoke to us first? Our mamas, right? And, you know, it just started to go from there. So amazing. I love that comment. Alhamdulillah. All right, so we're going to continue to move on. So we're going to move on how to expand your network, right? You know, we all are thumbs when it comes to that. We all know that whether it's personal, professional, organizational, there's some level of networking that we want to support and we want to continue to grow and build out. So what I'm really going to touch on in the next few slides before we get into the value adds is really to kind of hone in on a few tips that I've experienced personally along the way and that has come up in my own research and studies that have proven to be successful. And when I'm sharing this with you guys, really just kind of reflect on it and assess kind of how you connect to this. And, you know, when maybe you've experienced this in a positive or negative way, and feel free to share your comments as well so that we can kind of talk about it if anything else comes up, okay? So number one, in terms of how to expand your network, contribute more than you promote. And this is very, very important because you want to offer more value than your pitch, right? Because you know yourself what you are good at and what you have to offer. But you want to offer value when you're exchanging dialogue and you're talking to other people or groups about what you do. And that's key. That's vital in starting to build that connection and that relationship before you actually give them, hey, you know what? I actually do this and I think that this is going to be really great for you. What do you think, right? So it goes a long way when you're just bringing your best self forward, and your best self is that real, genuine person that you know and that you know you're confident and comfortable in. So offer more value, and then you can insert your pitch at a later date. So what I mean by that is, if you take a step back and you look at the ratio for it, for every one time that you pitch your offer, and when I say offer, that could mean a service that you provide, a product that you provide, you know, an event that you're promoting, your educational strengths, something that you want to pitch to someone in exchange for something else. So for every time that you pitch something, you pitch an offer, it has to be that you're offering value. And what you mean by that is either feedback or support to others 3 times more. So it's kind of like a 1 to 3 ratio, right? And an example of that in terms of how you offer value is giving helpful advice, giving guidance or information, providing support on something through an exchange of conversation on a particular topic, maybe sharing feedback and answering some questions or providing a reaction towards a request, right? So offering value doesn't necessarily mean buy 1, get 3 free. No, offering value means, how else can you add value to this person by offering what you are comfortable in and what you know, learn, and love, right? Any comments in terms of any experiences that you guys have had with this? Any questions?
Not at the very moment.
Okay, I think I just saw a comment. So there was one where it's saying, it's hard sometimes as Muslims to explain what we offer because we are taught to be humble and not to self-promote. So totally understand what you're saying, right? But in terms of self-promotion, you can still keep yourself humble while sharing what it is you do, right? You're not going to obviously say, oh my gosh, Fariha, I have the most amazing vitamin C serum in this whole wide world, and it's because that I've done it, and I'm a doctor and I've been able to put all of these. No, right? When you're sharing that, look at the shift that I'm going to present to you. So Fariha, I've been having some challenges with my skin lately, and I started to use vitamin C, and I've seen an amazing, difference. What do you do for your skin routine? So, you're starting up a conversation, right? And you're starting to invest in that conversation, and you're starting to understand what it is this other person or this other group or this other organization needs. And is this something that you can fulfill, right? So, definitely, you're not going to be kind of like, oh, score, I have the best product. Oh, score, I'm the only one that offers this. You need to use it. No, it's about having a candid, casual, comfortable conversation that helps you to slowly insert the benefits of what you have to offer. And as you start to do that, you're going to see more and more that people will receive it because they see the value, they understand the value, and they connect with it. And that's where they're going to just hook and then exchange that information with you, right? Okay, so we're going to move on. Another key point in terms of expanding your network is be intentional. Right? When you're connecting with other people or groups or organizations, you want to make sure that you're strategic about your own goals and what you're wanting to offer, what you're wanting to achieve, right? And this will actually continue to help you along the way so that you know how to connect with others and whom to connect with, right? Make sure that you are chunking out your time and that you allot a portion of your day, especially if you're someone who's offering some sort of service or product or something at work that you need to complete, dedicate one portion of your day, whether that's 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever interval, however this is important in your line of business, chunk it out, dedicate some time to that on a daily basis so that you consistently are participating in networking. And again, networking doesn't mean that you're constantly having to attend an event. Networking, you can network in multiple ways. It could be talking to a friend. It could be talking to family members. It could be online networking. It could be, looking up other groups that have this similar interest and you joining them and exchanging conversation, right? So it could be a plethora of different outlets that you choose to network, right? And you want to run through all of your networking touch points and look at what is your next step. Is your next step commenting? Is it sharing? Is it supporting? Is it advising? So it doesn't necessarily have to sound like a sales script, like a sales pitch every time, right? You're not here like, okay, yes, next person, yeah, so I'm selling this and there's this, and I've been able to perform at work and achieve this goal. Like, it doesn't have to be the same thing over and over and over again. It's going to become mundane and people are just going to tune out, right? So you want to make sure that you're like, maybe within this Facebook group that you follow, they are talking about the service that you provide and you have something to offer. You have a piece of advice to share that will help improve or add value to what they're talking about. So that's a portion of it. Go in, make a comment, start talking, right? So it doesn't necessarily mean one thing. It could be multiple different ways of helping out and supporting the people that you're trying to network with, right? Any questions or comments? Okay, and one thing that I want to add with the being intentional, pardon the pun here, but you want to keep renewing your intention, right? You want to keep renewing your intention. Think about it in a different way. The best of the planners knows your potential. Do you actually know your potential? He's aligned you to have this expertise. And now what are you going to do with this expertise to help out the community, the world at large, right? He knows you've got this. And it's not going to be a smooth path. You're going to have some little blips up and down. But as long as you consistently renew that intention and know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has gotten your back and says, like, go do it. This is your cup of tea. Go and, add value to people out there, to people's lives, right? Then that also is soothing and comforting and allows you to continue to press that restart button and start to move forward, right? So don't forget that. Before we switch to the next one, any questions or comments?
No, just the importance of intentional. I think the intense of having a good intention of having a good just doing good, I guess. I think that was very important. That's an important point to pick up from this.
100%. Thanks for sharing that, Fariha. The next one is actually just a very simple one. Don't forget to promote when appropriate. So I know in the previous slide, I was like, don't add your pitch first, but don't lose sight of that, right? If there's something that you want others to learn or hear or know about your service or your product or what you do at work or what you have to offer, don't be afraid to look for opportunities to insert your pitch and offer. So as you start to become more and more comfortable in dialoguing with people and exchanging information, you yourself will know the right time when to insert that. Yeah, so there was a comment, I think it's saying, Allah knows we can do a lot, and it's our self-restraint and hesitation that prevents us to exceed. And 100%, I totally agree with that, right? And I feel like when you're in that zone where you renew your intention and you increase that connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He's always by your side to continue to lead you towards that clarity and what you need to do. So going back to this, don't forget your pitch and look for opportunities to slip that in there, right? The next one that I wanted to highlight, which is very important considering the times. Oh, sorry, I'm gonna pause here because I think there's another question. Sorry for your, I keep on seeing them.
No problem. I'm just keeping them to see. I didn't want to interrupt you, so I was go with her.
Okay, cool. I think I'll answer this one since I'm gonna go into something different after this. So the question is, how do you know your pitch isn't working or effective, right? Great question. Through my own experience of studies, like, it's interesting because you're able to receive that energy or tone of the conversation when you start to talk and you start to pitch, right? And if the person is receiving it and engaging in the conversation and asking you more questions about it, I feel like that's a key trigger to know that you've piqued their interest and now you need to offer more, right? But if someone is kind of like, oh, that's nice. Okay, cool. yeah, then that may be an indication for you to review your pitch and do a little bit more research, a little more digging to see how others are presenting the information, right? And that way, like, you may want to have a variety of different types of pitches, and you're going to get to that level once you start to dialogue and interact with people and groups and organizations and others alike, and you'll start to get to that flavoring of, which pitch, which style do I push forward, because not everybody will receive the information in the same way. And it's important to pick up on the cues and the vibes of how people are receiving your information and note that down, store it, and use that as research and feedback to modify your pitch. Okay. Hope that answers the question. The next point that I wanted to add in terms of expanding your network is, don't forget about online networking, right? Because especially in these COVID times, we're so limited right now, and it's so uncertain in terms of, can we host a face-to-face event? How many, one day it's 10 people that you can meet up with, and the next day it's 0. So, it's definitely a great time to start understanding how to navigate yourself online. And if you're someone who doesn't, meeting face-to-face and going to events and exchanging dialogue with people directly is not your cup of tea, then I have to say online is one of the easiest forms of networking and easiest way to kind of just get off the ground running and start conversing and meeting people and meeting groups, right? So your thing online is you want to find out where your target market is hanging out, right? The audience that you need to interact with, that you want to exchange dialogue with, that you have something to offer with. What are they doing? Where are they, right? Who are they, right? Are they on Facebook? Are they on Instagram? Do they have a WhatsApp group? Are they having online events? So you need to kind of dig and do some research yourself and start talking to your personal network first and start to gather this information. And once you understand where they are and who they are, go there, create a presence, find them, and start building a connection and a rapport with them. I'll give you an example. If they have a Facebook group, join that group. Start to review all the dialogue that they have, and then click that and connect it to what you have to offer and how you can add a little bit more value by commenting, right? I remember some of the Facebook groups that I started to follow in the earlier stages. My mentor, mashallah, may Allah reward him, definitely encouraged me to just go there and start looking and start joining. And if you do that repeatedly, consistently, whether it's daily or every few days or every week, that consistency builds that habit, and that habit becomes a comfortable offering that you're doing, right? And I remember when I was joining these groups, there was one group that wasn't even active for at least 5 to 6 months when I had joined it. But it piqued my interest because it was aligned to where I wanted to get to. And I felt that when I was reading some of the stuff that they posted, it really resonated with me. And believe it or not, Fariha, all I did was just place a comment, like a question, and that group was just active again. And we all just started to talk. And I was like, wow, it's so simple. All I need to do is click, review, and insert what I felt, where I could insert myself and add some value, right? So it's that easy.
Exactly.
I'm just gonna pause now. Any questions or comments?
Yes, actually, I do. There's a comment. It's a comment, but more of a question, I believe. Even if, the comment is, it's hard sometimes as Muslims to explain what we offer because we are taught to be humble and not self-promote. I think this is a comment, but also I think it is a question. I think there should be a difference between understanding to what limit we promote. And I think you mentioned that in this presentation as well.
Yeah. And I think we answered that one. I think there's one more, Fariha, after this. I think it's the challenging one, if you want to read that one.
Yes, it's challenging when you're not comfortable with social media yourself. I'm someone who likes to keep my personal life off social media. How do I balance that when so much of our networking relies on online mediums?
Amazing question. Actually, I'm someone who doesn't like to put everything out there. And, you know, if I didn't have to be on social media, I wouldn't. But along the way, what I've noticed is that you need to pick one or a few that you know you're comfortable with and that you are okay using, and start with that, right? And it doesn't have to be and maybe this is something like a separate course or a separate session, but when you're online and you're offering your networking and you're wanting to share your offer with someone, that doesn't necessarily have to be through your personal social media pages, right? A lot of people have another business page set up on social media, which really just focuses and tunnels that particular part and aspect of what you have to offer. And when you're going about it that way, you're gonna be able to take a look at what it is you want to offer and who you want to include in visibility and restrictions and all of that stuff, right? So whether it's Facebook, whether it's Instagram, whether it's Twitter, whether it is Zoom sessions, like pick what you are comfortable doing. And it doesn't necessarily have to be like online per se. Like what if you just start off with like, you know, a WhatsApp group, right? A WhatsApp group where you have people on there that you're inviting because you know they're interested in this and you know that you'll be able to exchange information with them, right? So that's one thing where it doesn't have to be 100% Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, all that. You pick what you're comfortable with and start small and then just build it off from there.
Exactly. And I remember, actually, I learned from you the WhatsApp group. I didn't even know that you could do that with WhatsApp. The first time I met you, you were talking about WhatsApp and how you could actually have your social network group from WhatsApp. And I was like, really? That actually exists? But yeah, that's amazing.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, I mean, if we just take a look at, mashallah, like just all of the different groups that we have for Be Me as an example, right? It definitely keeps us informed, keeps us posted, keeps us connecting, keeps us thriving. And alhamdulillah for that, because right now within these restrictive, unknown times, it definitely creates a consistency of outreach, right? So something to think about.
Exactly.
Another thing is, remember, you're not the only one, right? So when you are connecting with people, be it online, be it face-to-face, whatever platform you're choosing, you're not the only one who's having self-conscious challenges or feeling shy. There's definitely other people who are struggling and trying to thrive. And sometimes the best approach is to leverage that awkwardness, to leverage that challenge that you're having and bring it forward with someone that you feel may be experiencing something similar and start your conversation that way. Chances are they're either going to agree with you and be like, yeah, you know what, I'm feeling the same thing too. Or they're going to be like, you know what, actually, I'm from da 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 da, and I can introduce you to a group of people that, you know, definitely want to hear about what you have to say. Right? So it's kind of like a win-win situation. Leverage the challenge, leverage your awkwardness, and, you know, align that to someone who you feel you can just strike that conversation with. Right? Many times you're kind of like, oh my gosh, this is such a huge event. I don't know anybody. Like, you know, just very casually, very informally, and then that just starts the conversation. Right? If you can't do that, another one of my favorites is compliments. Right? Compliments all the way. Give someone a genuine compliment and get a conversation started. People love compliments, and it's also rewarding and it's a blessing to recognize, you know, someone doing something good or having something recognizing their efforts or the benefits that they have to offer, right? So if you're able to do that, offer a compliment and start a conversation that way. Another thing about networking is that everybody feels that networking is just talking. It's not. Not in the least. It's not just all about talking. It's also about listening. People love people who listen, right? So if you're able to offer a listening ear as someone is trying to test out something or share something or ask a question, give that listening ear. I'm sure they would appreciate the genuine sincerity that you took the time to listen to them and be able to exchange in dialogue to offer them that support, that confidence, that guidance, that feedback. It goes a long way. Okay. I'll take a quick pause. Any questions or comments?
We are actually running out of time. I do have two questions just to close off the presentation. One, we have one of our audiences asking about intentions. If you could give an example when you speak of having the intentions, the importance of intentions in networking.
Awesome. So I think when it comes to intention, like, in terms of networking, and even I'll finish off very quickly as well, Fariha, with just the rest of the stuff so that at least people can see it. But when it comes to intention and networking, you really want to understand your key goals and what you have to offer, right? And when you understand that, then it allows you to be focused when you are entering and engaging in conversation. Otherwise, what happens is you're all over the place and you're kind of like, oh, wait, am I going to talk about this or am I going to talk about that? So you need to assess what's important for you right now. You are someone who's created a product. This product is geared towards whom? Maybe females of a certain age. This is how it's going to benefit them. So when you're going to be engaging in a conversation, you want to renew your intention and start to look at your goals, look at what you have to offer, and make sure that you have that readily available within your reach to be able to share and exchange dialogue. Whereas if you're not prepared in that way, then you're not going to have the valuable information that you need to make it beneficial and make it a great exchange of networking, right? And just to kind of go through very quickly the rest of the stuff, because I know there's another meeting that's coming up, you want to make sure that you keep learning as well. So it's not just about people. You want to optimize your efforts and to gain more knowledge. And that could be through courses, research, videos, whatever it is. Keep learning and keep developing yourself. You also want to put your interests out there. So keep in good company and always let your family and friends know, those you trust, what your interests are and what you're looking for, what kind of people you're looking for. And I kid you not, 95% of the time, it's your circle who's going to connect you with someone that is beneficial for you. So never forget that. Another point is your back pocket pitch. So you want to keep your personal pitch in your back pocket so that you can always pull it out and insert it in casual conversations. I think we touched on that a little bit earlier on, but this is more or less to make sure that you actually work on the pitch and that you have it, right? And it just takes a few keywords in terms of your 5 W's, right? So the what, where, who, when, and why. Okay. And then very quickly, your networking value adds. So after you've received all of your tips in terms of understanding, how to expand your network, you also want to hone in on your value adds. And just very quickly, I'm gonna run through this. You want to make sure that you're making real connections and friendships that will lead to true followers. You want to create the awareness in terms of you are the expert in your domain. And if you are, then you're going to be able to access all of these pieces and benefits and pitches to share with others. You also want to have what I call your speed network dial. So this is where you're going to be exchanging information to assist in building what you need. Maybe your email list, maybe a group member through WhatsApp or Facebook. And this will help to make connections, right? Don't forget to give value, which I know we touched on at the beginning. And then lastly, but definitely one of the most important value adds that has been shared with myself and has been tried and tested, do not forget the dua of Musa alayhi salam, right? So whenever you need to do a speaking engagement where you're nervous, definitely pull that out like your key card, right? And just recite it. It worked for Musa alayhi salam. It's been instructed by him when he went to go and approach a tyrant to basically address him. And alhamdulillah, every time I've used it, it's worked for me. And it's one of the best tips that has been shared with myself. So with that, I think I said a mouthful and I'm going to share this with you guys, but feel free to reach out, drop me a comment on my Facebook page or the support group. I'm sure Faree has mentioned it in the beginning, but I'd love to connect with you guys and talk to you some more. Fariha, anything else?
Thank you very much, Shaheen. As usual, you're very amazing. Thank you for the presentation. It was very informative and very helpful for all of us. Thank you to our audience for staying tuned this far with us. Please watch out. I'll just make a few announcements actually right now for the upcoming events that we have with Being Me. And give me 1 second, just IT needs to put that. So we do have a few upcoming events with Being Me. You can register for all of these programs at attendbm.com on October 25th. Please stay tuned for Girl Talk. We have the Girl Talk, the importance of seeking knowledge continuously. That will be at 1 o'clock. This will be a private session, so please make sure you register for at attendbm.com to receive the Zoom link. This is for the girls ages 10 to 16. On October 25th, 4 p.m., we have the coffee therapy that would be live on Facebook. And also, please make sure that you register for the Quran competition that will be on October 31st. This is the annual Quran competition on October 31st, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. for girls ages about 5 years old. Thank you to everyone for staying with us thus far. Please contact us for any further questions, comments on our social media pages. And thank you to Shaheen for giving us her time today. Thank you, Shaheen. Thank you for being here.
No problem. My pleasure. Assalamu alaikum, everyone.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. We'll close off today's program with a very short dua. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayka. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Have a good day.